Life is easy, but sometimes we can get caught up in our own complexity that we forget how easy it actually is, how simple it can be, like it is during childhood. Let me present you a tool that can help you break down this complexity and rediscover simplicity. Prime equation is a model with three elements: beliefs, habits, and goals. To optimize problem solving, we have to align these three elements. A belief, represented by a certain by a dot, is a certain fact, and thinking of those facts in a certain order is your thought pattern, which is the habit that forms the basis of your second to second actions. These second to second actions will give you a result, a certain goal. You may remember from part 1 that everything is problem solving, with a goal being a problem identified through reflection. It is important to note that this goal can be changing a belief, a habit, or finding a goal itself. Life is easy is a thought pattern. There are certain facts that make you believe it. This is what does the trick for me. I have great friends, a loving family, which leads me to believe that I have love in my life. I'm achieving my goals, and these facts lead me to believe that I am happy. Which brings me to the conclusion that life is easy. This is a thought pattern that determines your habits, which makes you achieve certain goals. This then creates facts that make it seem like life is easy. Positive reinforcement. So how do you get the benefit from this positive feedback loop created by goals and the facts they create? Your values are idealized beliefs that facilitate a certain thought pattern that makes you act to attain your dream life. Influencing your thought patterns is what spiritual people call manifestation. There are many different manifestation techniques that you can try, but values is the most effective based on this model, because values are the basis for determining your goals and their priority, the basis of your decision making. Regularly reflect on your results to analyze if your values are in the right order. It's super beneficial to reflect on your thought patterns with others, because often a thought pattern twists a fact. For example, I wanted to buy a good tablet for note taking, but thought they costed $1,000. And then I talked to a friend and realized you can get a decent one for just $300. Friends are very helpful to disrupt your assumptions that limit you from achieving your goals. A goal is a problem made up of sub-problems. These can be long-term, short-term, or medium-term. Imagine you're a bowman. You aim, ready to reflect. Your bow is composed of your beliefs or values. If this is solid, your shot will be accurate. Otherwise, it will be all over the place. You shoot, and the arrow flies all the way, and boom, it hits a target. You have identified a goal through reflection, which you can represent on a timeline. You shoot again on the same target, and it starts to crumble. You identify the sub-problems, the milestones. You put them on the timeline, and your path starts to emerge. You can repeat reflecting until you've discovered a step-by-step plan to reaching your milestones and your goals. The only effort now is to attentively follow this path by optimizing your habits. And if you get lost, just shoot again. So we've identified the problem, let's identify the solution. To optimize problem solving and reach your goals, you need to align it with your beliefs and habits. You can manipulate your beliefs with the use of your values. For your habits, you need something else, something a bit more sophisticated. You need a system, made up by a reflection system and an integrated thought system, also known as a second brain. So how are these two related? We constantly have a flow of ideas that have a certain shape and flavor. Reflection is capturing those ideas and filtering them based on their importance. The second brain serves as a storage place for these ideas that you can access at any time to help you remember important ideas for reflection and problem solving. In a block diagram, where your input undergoes a process and it returns an output, a reflection system forms the feedback loop which optimizes your next input. An integrated thought system or second brain enhances this. Reflection is the key element and for that reason is called the basis of focus optimization. It's needed to maintain and improve your productivity system. Without it, it falls apart. Your thoughts will overflow and spill out all over the place, becoming a big stinking mess that will repel you. A system is useful for breaking thought loops. Often you think the same thing over and over again. This accelerates building upon ideas and implementing them. You can probably recall while you were working and you need something, like your keys, because you're going out in about an hour. So you go to another room, but once you enter, you completely forget why you are there. After some hard thinking, you give up and return to your desk. And upon arrival, remember that same idea. You were looking for your keys, so you return to executing a similar action. It's the perfect example of a thought loop. It also exists on a larger time frame, but this is less noticeable. A nice example that I think that almost everyone will recognize. You have a deadline for an assignment or exam in a couple of months. You still have time, so you take it easy and prioritize other activities like meeting friends or other projects. Then as time goes on, you realize, oh, the deadline is coming up. I should perhaps start to write the assignment, but I still have time. Then before you know it, the deadline is in a week or two, and you are forced to do a whole semesters of work in that short period. These are simple examples, but you can have the same occur while working on a project. You often think the same thought twice before you actually implement it. Or you notice thoughts that pop up but only days after realize its value. The flow of ideas is also present on the collective level. We'll see why it's important to innovate, break through loops, build upon ideas and implement them as fast as possible. The collective stream of thought represented by this river, we see that an idea is equivalent to a water molecule. The mechanisms are slightly different. For an idea, we'll look at the orientation as a fixed point. A normal water molecule would flow on. But alas, the first molecule can only be present if there was a molecule before it in the stream. A second idea can only be discovered if the first one exists. The idea of apps on a smartphone can't be thought of without a smartphone itself. That's why ideas are time and sequence dependent and place and person independent. Very often two people come up with the same idea around the same time. A nice story to give this as an example. The Leibniz-Newton calculus controversy was a big argument between two mathematicians that started in 1699 and really broke out in 1711. They independently came up with calculus at around the same time. And the reason behind it is explained by Newton himself. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Because of the collective stream of thought, the idea you come up with doesn't make you special. It doesn't make you valuable. It can be stolen, replicated, or improved upon in an instant. So how do you increase your value? For that, you need to reach the self-improvement singularity in part 3 and rediscover that life is easy. Stay focused.